garage, I have a beautiful 1936-37 Ward's Airline 3-band 7-tube radio. This unit was manufactured by Belmont Radio Corporation out of Chicago, specifically for Montgomery Ward's. Now, Montgomery Ward's was a mail order house up until the 20s when it finally built its first brick and mortar. Belmont Radio Corporation, who built this, at one time had said that they had made more money selling to stores underneath of the store's name as opposed to selling underneath of their own name. This has 3 tones of color on it. The wood is in gorgeous shape. There are a few nicks and scratches on it. And this summer I will go ahead and redo the wood and the cabinet. On the front we have the dial indicator, and Belmont Radio Corporation was the first company to have multicolor, shiny dial indicators. They also held several patents on their tuning, especially their push-button tuning. This has a magic eye. It has an on-off volume. It has bass and treble control, and then the tuning. Looking at the back, it looks like we have a beautiful chassis here. The set is in exquisite condition. Looks like it was maintained in a well-heated environment. Wasn't kept in a garage or up in an attic anywhere. We have the original speaker and transformer, and it looks like we have an electromagnetic transformer here. Like I said, we had 7 tubes, and I believe that this was at 465 as opposed to 455. Belmont didn't want to pay the rights for the 455 band. We have an external antenna here for ground and antenna. There was never a back on this. And the story of this radio was that my son was going through Montana. He stopped at a little store, and the gentleman in there had this for sale. My son gave me a call and showed me a picture of it, and I said, send it to me right away. I will pay whatever they want for it. So let's pull the chassis out, and let's start on some measurements on it. Okay, the first thing we want to do is measure the AC through the power transformer, the primary, that goes through the AC volume control switch and the AC plug. So grabbing the AC plug, we're going to take one side and we're going to measure on the volume control, and then we'll measure on the other side, and we're getting nothing. So now let's measure the other plug. The other plug is good. And the volume control looks good. It looks like we have a bad AC cord here. But we do have resistance through the primary. Okay, let's check the transformer. We're going to check the plate portion of this transformer, and that's going to be on pin 4 and 5 of the 5W4. We also have a center tap here. So let's look here. We have 3 black wires and 2 red wires that appear to be on the output. So if we go to those 2 pins, we should measure 500 ohms or so. Yeah, 514 ohms. Now if we go to the center tap off of one side, we have 249. If we go to the other side, we have 265. So it looks like that portion of the transformer is good. Now I've colored it in here coming off of this. The next thing we need to do is to find the heater off the 5W4. And that should be these 2 red wires. So let's measure that. .4 ohms. That looks okay. So now I've got this first front end of the power supply colored in. The only thing I need to do is to go to the heater and to the lamps. In order to measure the heater coil, I have to remove the lamps and the tubes. In order to get the lamps off, I have to pull this plate off. So let's do that. This plastic front plate is extremely brittle. Okay, now that I have that out, we can pull the bulbs out. This should be a 6Q7. It's a 6Q7. This should be a 6F6. 6F6. Okay, this should be a 6K7. Yes, it is. This is a 5W4. This is a 5Y3 instead of a 5W4. It's a good substitute. It's a little bit higher voltage tube, but it should work fine. Next, we're looking at the 6L7. And the last one is a 6C5. A 6C5. Oh, we do have the I-tube here. And the I-tube should be a 6G5. It's a 6U5. That should be fine. Now with those removed, we can go ahead and measure the heater. From the 5W4, which is back here, here is the key. Okay, here is pin 1, and we're looking for pin 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we got 0.2 ohms on the heaters. That looks good. We next need to check if that heater is going to ground and if that wire is going to the pilot lights. Okay, measuring for chassis ground. There we go. And do I have continuity on that wire with the lamps? Here is one side of the lamp. This is the other side of the lamp. And that looks good. Or the lamp sockets are good. While we're on the lamp sockets, let's check the lamps out. That lamp looks open. Okay, and I've labeled one of these lamps as being defective. We'll go ahead and replace that when we start cleaning it up. Next, I'm going to remove the power cord and see, I see a crimp here that may be the problem. So I'm going to pull the power cord out and we'll cut it back and we'll check it and see if the power cord actually is okay or if it's defective down in here. Okay, peeling these two back, we're going to go ahead and measure the cord. I've got good there, no short there. No short there, good there. Okay, it looks like this section that I cut out of that cord is bad. So we can go ahead and utilize this cord and continue on. While I have this open, I thought I'd show you this metal resistor. This is ground. This is the input to the resistor. This one right here is, it's like 40 ohms, and this one is going to be 200 ohms. We'll go ahead and measure those, make certain that they match up with the schematic, and I'll be back. Okay, the next thing we have to do is check the speaker. 540 ohms on the input of the transformer. The output, we're looking at 1 ohm. And the speaker is tied in parallel with that. That could be right. We have a choke coil here that we have to look at. Okay, 1.5K, that looks good. Okay, I'm working on the power supply right now, and I'm looking at this terminal block of 3 lugs, and it is really a mess. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pull everything off of here, clean it up and replace the components, and then put it back together again. So I'm going to get started on that. Now this style of resistor is called a dog bone because it kind of looks like a dog bone. But in order to read this, you need to read the body, which is orange, the end, which is black, and the dot, which is green. That would be a 3, 0, followed by 5 zeros. So we've got a 3 meg resistor. Okay, I was getting ready to solder the next terminal, and I noticed the amount of wires here that need to go to both 2 and 1, the first terminal and the second terminal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in another solder lug in. So I need to take what I just soldered in off so I can rotate this around and put this in. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Let's stop the video here. In part 3, we'll continue on replacing components and do our first power-up. If you found this video useful or entertaining, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up and don't forget to click on the bell icon to be notified of upcoming videos. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for watching.